Hi, my name is Leilani Johnson, and in this video I will be reviewing the films Bicycle Thieves and Rome Open City. Both of these films are from the Italian neorealistic artistic movement in the 1940s. During World War II, Italy's cities and countryside were being destroyed by Germany's incessant fighting. Italy's economy went into a recession. People were out of work and couldn't get jobs. Things were bleak, miserable, etc. Benito Mussolini and his fascist regime were controlling the market as well as the country and making white telephone films, or films that were socially conservative, supporting family values and authority. Very fascist things. They were basically just copying the Hollywood movies that were fun and stupid at the time. A bunch of Italian film critics who worked for Mussolini's son decided that the only way they could fight back was to make films that were exactly the opposite of white telephone films, which, by the way, were named that because to have a white telephone you need to be disgustingly rich and, I guess, fake. Neorealism strived to be as realistic as possible. These stories were filmed on location and used mostly non-professional actors and were focused on the poor and working class and their hardships and moral conditions of post-World War II Italy. They had a new democratic spirit. Ordinary people are cool, yay! They denounced Italy for its fascist past and the conditions that it led to. But even with all of this, Italians were not fans of Italian neorealism, even though it was named after them. The main reason they didn't like it was because the war had just ended. Rome Open City was filmed just 2 weeks after the Nazis left. Of course they didn't want to immediately relive it. I mean, that's disgusting. I don't blame them. Outside of Italy, however, these films thrived. They were critically acclaimed for showing a slice of life that many people were blind to. So, the first film is Bicycle Thieves. It was directed by Vittorio De Sica and released in Italy in 1948. I think that it was a very strongly paced movie. It's about a man who needs a bicycle to keep his job and provide for his family, but his bicycle gets stolen, so he's obsessed with getting it back. Pretty straightforward. I think this movie was pretty easy to understand, and the director was trying to convey how the world can be against you when you're just trying to get by. I mean, the guy got his bike stolen while he was doing his job that he needed the bicycle for. There was nothing he could have done. Nobody cared that somebody was stealing his bicycle, but later, when he's driven to do the same thing, everyone cares. Absolutely everyone takes it upon themselves to bring him to justice, even though absolutely nobody cared earlier. Ironic? Maybe? I think. As far as the acting goes, Italian neorealism is known for using non-professional actors, and both of the main actors were played by amateurs. Antonio, the bike guy, was a pretty decent actor. He was very ordinary, and that was totally what they were going for, so good job. Bruno, his son, was played by a random kid that they saw on the street, and he was pretty legendary. He was a very, very notable actor, and he raised the whole puppy dog kid following him around to a respectable level. I mean, I thought he definitely got my attention. I think he was a very good actor. Bruno is Antonio's kid, so he has a hard job. Trying to stick up for your dad when the whole world is against him is hard enough. As a kid, it's almost impossible. The mostly outdoor setting of the movie really contributed to the hopelessness of trying to find Antonio's bike. I think the neorealism really worked for that particular aspect of the movie. All of Rome is a very big place to search, and yet he still found that guy 3 times, and nothing came of it. All in all, I give it a 7 out of 10 for being a solid film that I would watch again. The next film is Rome Open City. It was directed by Roberto Rosellini and released in Italy in 1945. This film reminded me of a lot of random 50s movies I would watch as a kid, stylistically. I was fond of random Alfred Hitchcock movies like Spellbound, which is one of the weirdest movies that I've ever seen. Let me get this straight. The plot is nothing like Rome Open City. It's just Actually, you know what? Nothing is like Spellbound. It's just way too weird. Rome Open City was named after the term they designated Rome when it was supposed to be a safe zone, but it was still home to such terrible after effects and, well, fascism. So it follows several characters. A man who is fleeing because he is the leader of the resistance against the fascists and the Nazis, and the Gestapo are on to him. So, he's got to run far away and hide. So he hides in the home of his friend Francesco and his pregnant fiancée Pina. We follow several resistance fighters. Luigi, who is the guy who has like 3 identities. So, I did not keep that straight, honestly. Francesco, and a Catholic priest named Don Pietro, and even a bunch of kids, including Pina's kid, that fight in their own ways. There are 4 female characters in this movie, and only 2 of them are similar. It's crazy, really. Pina is a fantastic character. Can't say enough good things about her. She's strong-willed, stands up for what she thinks even in inopportune situations, self-aware, reflective, and she eventually dies for what she believes in. Although, unlike the men, her death is pointless, unfortunately. Marina and Laura are very similar, but Marina is less annoying. She's addicted to drugs and is a prostitute to maintain her fancy lifestyle, and she has no shame about it. Or, she justifies it, which it is justifiable if, the way she does it. That's what she wants, that's her goal, that's how she gets it. When she has a tiff with her former boyfriend, she decides to betray him to this random Nazi woman that's stalking her. She later regrets it, but she did it, so yeah, she kind of sucks. Sorry. Ingrid, the boss Nazi lady, is a very basic character. She has no personality and no motives. She just seems to like to hurt people. I don't know. She doesn't even seem happy or sad about it. Just pretty much numb. I don't know. Being a Nazi will maybe save you from getting attacked by Nazis. So there's that. The self-aware drunk general was a fun guy. I think Major Bergman was overreacting to his speech. He obviously wasn't going to do anything about, what he was saying, but anything that went against his life view was too much of a shock to his system, I guess. After I finished this movie, one of the first things that I read was that there were only 2 established actors in it, and I immediately knew who. The characters of Pina and Don Pietro. Don Pietro had a lot of depth, soul, and he held his own. Even when the Nazis tried to tell him that his friend was his enemy, an atheist, he said he knew he was doing the right thing regardless of any personal beliefs. He was sentenced to death via firing squad, and even the firing squad didn't have the guts to kill him. He was just such a good actor. As far as the story goes, I had a hard time searching for a point at the end of the movie. The guys died for what they believed in, and it helped their cause, and I guess that was it. Doing the right thing often has no reward, and I'm surprised that Francesco made it out of that movie alive so that that little boy could have a father. I thought it would be even more tragic than that. I'd give this movie a similar 7 out of 10, but I think I need a rewatch. There was a lot of things going on.